Welcome to Enchanting Folktales. Today's story is about Alero. It is a story about the power of kindness and the perils of greed. Once upon a time, in a distant past, there lived a young girl named Alero. She lived with her parents, but tragically, her mother had passed away while giving birth to her younger brother, leaving Alero alone with her father and her newborn brother. Her father did all he could to take care of both of them. He cared for them and he loved them both. But Alero's father, recognizing the tender age of Alero, made a decision to marry a second wife, Adanne. Adanne had a daughter named Chioma from her late husband. When Adanne moved into the house, she treated Alero kindly because her father provided enough money and food for the entire family. However, a turning point arrived when Alero's father fell gravely ill, rendering him unable to provide for the household as usual. Adanne's behavior towards Alero took a drastic turn. She forced Alero to work on the farm, sent her to the market to hawk goods, and even stopped her from attending school while her daughter did. Whenever Alero's sick father tried to intervene, Adanne threatened to abandon him, leaving him, his son, and Alero without care. Although Alero's father remained silent out of sadness, he was deeply distressed by the mistreatment of his daughter, while their young son suffered from malnourishment. One day, Adanne instructed Alero to hawk eggs on a tree, lazily idled about. Tearfully, Alero returned home, explaining that she had accidentally broken the eggs. In response, Adanne flogged Alero and demanded that she should not return home until she replaced the broken eggs. Alero's father's heart shattered as he witnessed the suffering inflicted upon his daughter, and he saw his little son growling weaker each day out of hunger. Filled with despair, Alero left their home in search of menial work, hoping to earn some money to buy the eggs. Along her journey, she passed through a desolate path where she noticed a massive tree with its roots exposed from the soil. The tree spoke to Alero, and she was shocked. The tree asked her to take the nearby hole and cover its roots with the soil beside it. Willingly, she obliged, and the giant tree expressed gratitude. Then she continued on her journey. Alero encountered a broken well, the well pleading for her assistance in patching it up with the mud beside it. Although weary and tired, Alero selflessly helped to repair the well. As she pressed forward, she stumbled upon an old mud oven that requested she organized its contents and closed the door for it. She agreed and did the request of the oven. Nightfall approached, and Alero had not found any employment. Faced with the dilemma of finding shelter, she approached a modest dwelling and knocked on its door. An elderly disabled woman opened the door and told Alero that in exchange for a shelter and a mega amount of money, Alero could stay if only she would clean her entire whole house for 7 consecutive days. Alero agreed and the woman let her stay. But the woman warned Alero never to ever open the door on the right. Alero agreed. With determination, Alero diligently cleaned the whole house for the following week. She cleaned the living room and mopped. She washed plates and cleaned the kitchen. She washed clothes and spread them to dry, and then she threw out all the dirt outside in the waste bin. On the 7th day, the elderly woman called her and instructed her to open the forbidden door on the right. And when she opened it, she was overwhelmed. The woman asked her to choose any of the bags she saw in the room. The room was filled with fairies and looked very beautiful. The fairies beckoned on her to select a bag, and instinctively she pointed to the first one. Grateful for her choice, she thanked the fairy and the woman, and the fairies promised to follow her back home, helping her transport her bag. Before departing, the old woman gave her a golden egg, advising her to break it open in front of her house as soon as she arrives home. Thanking the woman, Alero bid farewell to the woman, and the fairies kindly assisted her in carrying the bag on their journey back home. Along the way, Alero encountered the oven. This time it was looking new and gleaming very clean. Delighted to see Alero, the oven offered her freshly baked bread, urging her to visit the next time. And then he told her to go to the well. Approaching the well, Alero noticed the pristine appearance. The well was radiating with purity and the water was so clean. Grateful for what Alero had done for it before, the well offered Alero a calabash full of refreshing water. Alero drank it, which quenched her taste. Alero expressed gratitude to the well. Finally, Alero approached the tree. This time, the tree was emanating with a vibrant glow, and it bore plenty fruits. In appreciation for her earlier assistance, the tree gave Alero a basket full of fruits. With the fairies' aid, Alero arrived safely home. She fulfilled the old woman's instruction by breaking the egg in front of her house. Immediately, a crate of egg appeared for her to return to Adanne, and her father witnessed a miraculous recovery. Overjoyed, her father emerged from the house with her little brother and was surprised and happy to see his daughter once more. They all went in. This time, Adanne was surprised to see Alero. Alero gave her the crate of egg as she requested. Together, Alero, her little brother and her father entered their father's room, and excitedly they opened the bag given to them by the fairy and the old woman. When they poured out its contents, a lot of gold coin came out. They were grateful to the fairies, and the fairies bade them farewell, extending their wishes for success. Alero and her father found themselves transformed into a wealthy family. Adanne, consumed by jealousy, could not bear to witness their newfound prosperity. Out of jealousy, Adanne decided to send her daughter Chioma on the same journey that Alero had embarked upon. Adanne pleaded with Alero to reveal the route she had taken, and Alero shared the details with her. Adanne then instructed Chioma to bring back 10 times more gold than what Alero had acquired. Chioma set out on her journey, filled with arrogance and a desire to outdo Alero's accomplishments. She encountered the giant oak tree, which kindly asked her to cover its roots with soil. Dismissing the task with disdain, Chioma sneered and refused, declaring that her hands would never ever touch a mere hole, let alone sand. She continued on her journey and came across the well. The well begged her to repair it with the mud. She casually ignored the well's plea and carried on her way. Soon, she stumbled upon the old oven. Noticing its door disarray, it pleaded with her to close the door. But Chioma, driven by arrogance, instead kicked the door away in defiance. Eventually, Chioma reached the house where Alero had found shelter. A ragged old woman inside informed her that she could only stay for 7 days and strictly forbade her from opening the door on the right. Initially, Chioma agreed and walked for the next 3 days. But her impatience got the better of her, and on the 3rd day, she disregarded the warning and flung open the forbidden door. To her dismay, The room was filled with swarming bees that chased her out of the house. The angry old woman threw a bag at her, declaring that was her payment, and promptly shut her door. As Chioma made her way back, she encountered the oven once more. She noticed that there were some freshly baked bread on the table, and she wanted to reach the bread to eat it. This time, the oven withheld any gesture of kindness, and as she stretched her hand to take the bread, she received a dirty slap from an invisible hand. This time, she reached the well, which had transformed into a pristine state. Chioma, seeking water, attempted to fetch some water, but the well dried up, refusing to quench her thirst. Finally, she arrived at the tree. She noticed that it flourished with fruit. Whenever she wanted to reach a fruit, the tree will grow taller, denying her access. Exhausted and defeated, Chioma continued her journey home, hoping that the bag with her will yield some gold, which will make she and her mother very rich. Upon returning home, Adanne was not happy to see her daughter Chioma because she only came with just one bag instead of 10. But nevertheless, she and her daughter Chioma entered their room with anticipation. As they opened the bag to pour out its contents, instead of gold coming out, Ken sprang out from the bag, lashing both of them. It was a painful reminder of their wickedness and greed. From that day forward, Adanne and Chioma learned a valuable lesson, realizing the consequences of their action and vow never to be wicked and greedy again. This experience humbled them, teaching them the importance of kindness, gratitude, and the perils of jealousy. And so, dear viewers, let Alero's journey be a reminder of the power of kindness and selflessness. The story also teaches us to appreciate the help and blessing we receive in life and to be thankful for them. It is also a cautionary tale highlighting the negative consequences of being driven by greed and envy. It teaches us of the importance of humility, self-reflection, and learning from past mistakes. If you enjoyed our stories or have any other comments, let us know in the comment section below. To encourage us to create more stories, please share, like, turn on your notification bell, and subscribe to our channel. This will help us and encourage us to do more stories for you to enjoy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Bye. See you in the next story.